This episode of Variant is brought to you by Audible.com. Today on Variant, the Avengers Initiative game and Robot Chicken's DC special. Interested? Because I know I am. Welcome to Variant, where we love comics more than we love comics. I'm your host, Arris. The Avengers Initiative game was just recently released on iOS, and the Robot Chicken DC special aired not too long ago, so I figured, why not discuss both of them on the show? And some of you guys have been asking me what are my thoughts on both topics anyway, so let's get into it. For those of you who don't know, Marvel has just released a new game developed by Wildlow Games called Avengers Initiative, which is a new beat-em-up brawler game for iOS. Originally it was supposed to be released on Android at the same time, but for unknown reasons got delayed. But don't worry, Android users, this game will be available in your App Store eventually. There's just no word on when at this point. The game has what I think is a really cool approach to it, and is almost using the Marvel movie formula. I say it's using the Marvel movie formula because they're releasing the game in episodes. Right now the game is all about the Hulk, and you can only play as the Hulk, but they will be releasing updates, and with each update you'll be able to play as a new character, such as Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, thus ultimately forming the Avengers. Which is a brilliant idea and a smart way to keep players interested. When just getting into the game, you receive a message from Nick Fury explaining what your mission is, aka what the game is all about. Basically, supervillains have escaped from the Vault, which is a S.H.I.E.L.D. top secret prison, and Fury sends Hulk on foot to wrangle them up like a cowboy. Imagine Hulk as a cowboy? We could call him Yeehaw Hulk. Okay, don't look at me like I'm stupid, like Marvel would never do anything like that. They made the Grey Hulk into a mob enforcer in Las Vegas and made him wear a trench coat and carried around a Tommy gun. And called him Joe Fixit. Yeah, that's what I thought. Once you actually begin the game, the action starts immediately. The game gives you a tutorial of how to play the game and what all the controls are, which is fine, but I feel like they spend a little too much time on it when a lot of it is common sense. Once you get past all the tutorials though, it's just Hulk smash goodness. One thing you will notice about the game though, is it's very similar to the game Infinity Blade. It basically has the same exact gameplay, which could be a good thing because that game was a lot of fun, or a bad thing if you're sick of that game. But the Hulk special moves in this game are pretty freaking awesome. You can use them by pressing on the top left corner of the screen and just pick one of the 3 special moves you're allowed to have. At first you will only have 1 special move, but you can buy more by gaining points in the game by defeating enemies. If you pause the game, you will see stats, powers, augments, and costumes on the top of your screen. The stats page allows you to do what you think it would, which is update your stats. Powers lets you buy and pick the powers you want to use. Augments is where you could give you things like +5 damage and lifesteal, and then costumes where you could be King Hulk, Fear Itself Hulk, Savage Hulk, which is my favorite Hulk, Maestro Hulk, and Ultimate Hulk. The game is really fun and feels like you're playing a cartoon, and I think what makes it feel even more like that is the fact that the Hulk and Nick Fury are voiced by the same 2 guys who voiced them in the Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes cartoon. And I love the fact this game is voiced over. It really makes the game feel huge. That was one of the things I thought was really stupid about the Justice League game I reviewed a while ago. It wasn't voiced over. But my overall thoughts of this game is it can get a little repetitive, so if you get annoyed easily with that stuff, this probably isn't for you, but it is well done and a must-have for any fanboy like myself. It also has HD graphics and a good story so far, which they're only going to expand on. I mean, soon we're gonna get updates to be able to play with Captain America and play with him on his own mission, and the same thing with Thor and Iron Man and so on, which is an awesome idea. So considering all that, I think the game is worth its $6.99 price tag because the game is only going to get bigger and better. Did you know Lex Luthor originally had hair in the comics? We were given his origin of hair loss in Adventure Comics issue 271. A teenager Lex Luthor saves Superboy from an encounter with kryptonite. In gratitude, Superboy builds him a lab. And then Lex Luthor, being grateful, develops him a secret antidote for kryptonite poisoning. But then an accidental fire breaks out, Superboy comes by to use his super breath to blow it out, which spills chemicals everywhere, causing Lex to go bald. And that, my friends, is how Lex went bald. Audible.com is the leading provider in downloadable digital audiobooks and spoken word entertainment. Audible has over 100,000 titles to choose from to be downloaded to your iPod MP3 player and played back anywhere, anytime. Choose from books in every genre, like science fiction, thrillers, drama, comedy, business, history, and more. Go to audiblepodcast.com/variant to get your free audiobook download of your choice when you sign up today. Again, go to audiblepodcast.com/variant for your free audiobook. The Robot Chicken DC special just aired a couple weeks ago, and a lot of you guys have been asking me what are my thoughts on it. So first off, let me just start by saying this was like a match made in heaven for me. I mean, I love Robot Chicken. It's one of the funniest shows on TV in my opinion, and well, I love DC Comics. Now, needless to say, the special was pretty funny and seemed like they really catered to the DC fans because a lot of the humor within the skits they did are pretty funny if you're not a DC fan, but even more funny if you are a fan of the DC characters and know a little bit about them and their history. The whole tone of the show went with the Super Friends vibe, which I think the campiness and retro feel added to the funny. And the sketches called That's Bane and Real DC Superheroes were freaking hilarious. The episode was actually co-written by Chief Creative Officer of DC, Jeff Johns, which I thought was pretty cool. So if you're a fan of DC and you haven't seen this, you definitely need to. You can pick it up on iTunes for $4.99, which is how I watched it. I really hope they do another DC themed one because I know it would only get better. Or even a Marvel special. That would be amazing. We'd have the best of both worlds. First up for Wednesday, October 3rd, we have Rorschach issue 2. This comic is all about Rorschach, one of the coolest characters ever. If you're not reading this, there's something wrong with you. Here we have Detective Comics issue 13. We have a whole new creative team on this title now, so I hope this title really takes off. It's actually written by John Layman, famous for his work on the awesome comic Chew. Really excited about this. Now we have Green Lantern issue 13. The Rise of the Third Army storyline starts here, and I cannot wait for this. The Earth's new Green Lantern fights the Justice League. That's pretty epic. Finally, we have Thief of Thieves issue 9. I talked about this comic in my image themed episode, so check that episode out if you want to hear me ramble on about this. Well, that's it for today on Variant Friends. As always, you can post your comments, thoughts, or whatever your pretty little faces want below. You can also like our Variant Facebook page for cool updates about the show and comics from time to time. And if you can't get enough of me, you can also follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/Arris_Quinones. But I will see you next week when I review the animated movie, The Dark Knight Returns Part 1. Ooh. Josh is playing on his phone when we're trying to record an episode.
Arris is singing when we should be shooting.
Because Josh is playing on his phone.